Okay, a really quick review of arithmetic and geometric sequences, because today we're going over Unit 9, which was sequences. And this is a fairly simple one. It's multiplying by 1.5. I like to write that as 1 plus 0.5. That way I can see this part right here, the 1.5. That was the common, you remember what that's called? Ratio, good. And just this part is called the growth what? Rate. So the growth rate is whatever's after the 1. Okay, here's the trickier kind. What if it said u sub n minus 1, and then it said 0.75? That's still called the what? Common ratio. But then you'd have to rewrite that as 1 plus or 1 minus something. In this case, it would be 1 minus 0.25, good. And that means that it's a decay rate of how much? 0.25, as in 25% decay. This was the common ratio. This would be the decay rate. Get how the bigger number, the one that's got it all in one number, that's the common ratio. Once you break it up into 1 plus or a 1 minus, it's whatever's after the 1, that's your growth or decay. So then here's the trickiest kind. What if you're just taking your thing and timesing by 7? Well, the thing without any changes, that's called the common what? Common ratio. But if you make this into 1 plus something, it's going to be what? 1 plus 6. And that keeps you from making the most common mistake. Because, of course, what percent growth do you think people say this is, even though it's wrong? 700% growth, but it's actually 600% growth. See this 6 here? That's the growth rate. And you always have to make it into 1 plus or 1 minus something to see that. The growth rate is right here. This is the common ratio. The simple one number is common ratio. Okay, so then the most complicated kind would look like this. Un equals un minus 1 times 1 plus 0.075 over 12 minus 400. And then the u0 might have been 5,000. Describe to me some things you know about this real life situation. It's monthly. Good, because of the divided by 12. It's a loan because of the what? Because of the negative. Good, and what's this? It's what you started. You borrowed that much. Okay? And then these 400 is the what are you doing to it? You're paying it off. Good. And let's say we wanted to know how much you still owed them after 3 months. That would be u sub 3, and you'd go on your table after you entered this on the calculator, and you'd be able to see what u sub 3 was. Remember, on these real world problems, we like to start with u sub 0. Okay? If we're just doing a simple one, like, what's the fourth term? It's better to start with u sub 1. If you do this, it's the simplest kind. I start with a 5. What's the fourth term if I do this? There, I'm timesing it by 2. And then I'd go, okay, 5 is the start, times 2 is 10 is the next number, times 2 is 10 times 2 is 20, times 2 is 40, and then you could just count them up and say, what's the fourth term? It'd be u sub 4. Okay, that's the simplest kind, and that would be geometric or arithmetic. Geometric, and the other kind's called arithmetic, and that's where you add something each time. Like if they just said plus 2, that would mean I take 5 as my starting point, and then I go 5 plus 2 makes 7, plus 2 again makes 9, plus 2 again makes 11. Okay, so there's a quick review of geometric sequences. All right, now your assignment, I'm going to have you skip one part of it. It's problem 3 on the assignment. It's got a lot of parts to it, and I wanted to cut the assignment down, and I think that's part you could probably live without. Just make sure you know how to do like that kind of problem. If you don't know how to write the equations, you should probably practice that. But I'm going to let you skip number 3 for tomorrow's assignment. All right, so when you're done, you are done with today's top 20. You are going to be doing, where is it? This worksheet right here. And it's 1.1, 1.2 review worksheet, sequences and recursion. And again, I told you you could skip number 3, but you do need to know how to write these little formulas. If you don't need to know that, then you should probably practice that. But otherwise, 3 is pretty long. Here's 3 continued, see? So you should practice that, but I'm letting you skip it for this homework assignment. All right, so now it's top 20 review time. So it's a very short little start on reviewing for the final. Tomorrow, or sorry, actually, yeah, tomorrow, Friday, we will review more because we're not taking the top 20. All right, and then I'll assign you a couple more parts. And then by the end, we'll have had a chance to talk about every single thing we've done this whole semester. It just has to go really fast to be able to do that in a few days. So this is meant to only be a review. Okay, that's all I got for you for today.